I mentioned education has been important to me and my family. I grew up in NYCHA housing, a single parent, 2 siblings, but I was able to go get my MBA, go to law school, become an attorney. So when I graduated, I wanted to get back to the community as far as education, because it was a key component making me transition into the middle class. So I ran for the community school board, became the president. And at that time, we had the 5th best school in New York State. That was the Crown School for Law and Journalism. And we had that school capped at 800 students. And for some reason, Mayor Bloomberg uncapped it at 1,300 students, which diluted the school and it fell from that ranking. And as we move forward now, fast forward, I realized part of that was to give less resources to have co-location for charter schools. Not that I'm against charter schools. But so I just want to say now I'm moving forward as a state senator, and once again, I wanted to be on the education committee. And so I'm on the education committee in the New York State Senate, and happy to say that Ms. Cashin just voted her in for your re-election. Stand up, Ms. Cashin. Yes. For her re-election, and I have a vast district. I go from Sunset Park to Gowanus, Park Slope, Prospect Heights, Crown Heights, Flatbush, East Flatbush, and Brownsville. So the educational process in Park Slope is much different from Brownsville. And so when you have high stakes testing, where teachers are being evaluated on children's test scores, I said, well, wait a minute. I have schools in Brownsville that have 23% of the students live in shelters. So how can we evaluate teachers' evaluation in kids who have social issues that are not being fully addressed? And then you might see an exodus of teachers wanting to go into low-performing schools. So that was a concern for me. I've been a union member the majority of my life, and I thought that teachers are being scapegoated. A teacher being evaluated on a child that has special needs or has needs of parental involvement, needs of a community. In Brownsville, we have the highest murder rate in New York City. So children have their own struggles in that area. So I just want to say, testing and testing for the exam is not a holistic way of teaching our children. You have to cut back on the curriculum. So you have less music, less poetry, more enriching academic courses to make the child whole. And I don't believe in teaching to the exam. I have 2 young children, and my son is doing well with a 97 average. My daughter has a 97.875. She does my son know that all the time with averages. So I just want to say that we're happy to be here. I'm only like 100 days in as the New York State Senator, but I've always worked with Joanne, District Leader, and Brad Lander as City Councilman. I just thank my colleagues in government for being here today with us. So thank you so much. So I'm going to bring John back on. And I just want to say testing is good somewhat, but we have to figure out, is this test reliable? It seems that education now is becoming a business, and more so than actually educating. I want to make sure education remains something that people love to do, not fearful of losing their jobs, and making sure that teachers are giving the credit for raising our most valuable resource, and that's our children. And thank everybody for being here.